I was scared that he was gonna reprimand me after I left, but he didn't.
So Blankenship had the band for the remainder of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right. I know some other people that had Blankenship in other bands.
Reputation.
I'm interested in finding out where these occurred. Now, can you run through some names of people that you may remember that were in the band?
Lewis Fenley.
He played
French horn, piano.
French horn and piano.
And
Okay.
he conducted we formed a glee club.
Okay.
And he was better at that than anything I know.
Okay.
He could do that. And he played the organ.
Mm-hmm.
Francois was supposed to have been a flute piccolo player, but I never heard him play.
I think Francois was from Dayton. He had a little minor reputation there, I think.
Richard Slater, I remember him.
From Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Richard Slater.
You come up with some names too.
Yeah, well.
Now, what did Slater play?
Percussion.
He was a percussionist.
Yes.
Okay.
He learned how to play traps after he got there.
Mm-hmm.
He got to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Was it say he learned how to play trap? So he was what, a snare drummer before, or a bass drummer, or?
I don't know which. I think it was snare drummer.
Okay. So, but he got behind the set when he got.
He got behind the set and learned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh. I had a name that we hadn't mentioned, Woody.
Woody, yeah.
It was Jimmy Woody or Henry Woody. Jimmy
Woody.
Woody, because his brother had written a song called Rosetta. Rosetta,
Mhm.
how I love you. But Woody was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to remember because I hadn't thought about him, I think, since we left.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did Woody play?
Piano, what is he doing?
Played drums.
He was a drummer also.
March with the drum.
Okay. Okay, and he was a brother of a composer.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that.
He was a nice piano player. I like to play with him.
Mm-hmm.
He gave you space.
Mm-hmm.
And you understand what I mean.
Yes, I do. Now, those pictures that you have over there of the Cloudbusters, is that your group?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's
jazz.
this group.
That was a jazz band.
That's
Yeah.
a jazz band. He
Okay.
didn't ever get to play in that band, but
All right.
he was learning.
Because I remember while Phil Field had the Navy band in Washington, something. Phil.
Virginia Beach, I think.
Yeah, he lives in Virginia Beach.
No, I'm talking about Fields was.
Carl Fields, the trumpet player.
Yes.
Oh, Carl Fields. That was one of the guys in your band.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's name is Phil Field. And he'd been a student of mine. And while he was the director of the Navy band, there were some pictures that came out of the Cloudbusters. And I never knew whether it was B1 band or you guys. And it's actually your band.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what this other band was called. Just one of those.
It just might have been the second Cloudbusters. Probably the same, use the same stands.
Oh, you had the same stands that they left there?
I don't know.
I don't know, really.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a name that came from being pre-flight school.
Yeah, yeah, right. And it probably was just continued to be the same name because the group played out in around town there, right? And they knew you as the Cloudbusters, I guess. Give me an overview. So you got discharged from the Navy, and if each of you could give me kind of an overview of where your life has gone since that time, so we'll have it sort of on record here.
Well, when I came back to Norfolk in '46, they had started a union, musicians union, which had been here before. And I joined it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I started playing with a church Sunday school orchestra in order to get a bass. And I used to take that bass and go on gigs. That's how my gigging really started, because I didn't play any gigs before in Norfolk. I had played gigs in Richmond and Petersburg. I had played with Billy Taylor. Billy Taylor was a graduate of Virginia State,
Mm-hmm.
and we were there together. He came one year after I had been there, And when we heard him play, it shook our mind, man. That cat could play up a breeze, and he couldn't read a note.
Yep.
And the music teacher there who taught theory took him under her wing. And she said, "You have no business being a sociology major. You come on into the music department and I'll teach you how to read." And she took him under her wing and she worked with him. This was Undine Moore, the one who wrote this thing about Martin Luther King. And almost won a prize for it, but she didn't win. And Billy formed a quartet. I was the bass player. Alexander Terrell was the guitar player. And I don't remember the drummer's name. But the four of us used to broadcast in Petersburg. And then there was a band in Richmond that Billy Taylor started playing with. I can't remember the name of it. And he used to take me over there whenever the bass player couldn't make it. So I played with him in Richmond, and I played with him on television. And he also formed a girls group called the Four Clefs. And the quartet and the Four Clefs used to go around and do little jobs. And got to know him pretty well. And Fears can tell you that I brought Billy Taylor to Norfolk State more than anybody else.
That's right.
I brought him there about 5 times. I guess it was about 5 times.
So but you were involved in the school system or something?
When I came out of the service, I went back to the job I had before, which was in the post office. I was a clerk at the post office. And I was teaching. I started teaching on the side at a Catholic high school called St. Joseph's High School, teaching choir and band. It was a black Catholic high school. And I started arranging and playing with a group called Bobby Robinson's Orchestra. Do you remember him?
Yeah. Put together.
And Noah Ryder was the head of the music department at Norfolk State. It was a 2-year school at that time. And he used to come over to the place where we practiced, which was the Eureka Lodge. It's a place with sells and whiskey and everything. And he'd sit up there and get drunk and listen to us play. And he walked up to me one day and said, "Jimmy Reeves, how about coming over and teaching part-time for me at the college?" I said, "No, you full of shit." He said, "No, I'm not. I need somebody who can teach strings." So I started a string class, 2 hours a week. "Why don't you come over and do it for me?" So I went over. He said, "Come over and see the president." I went over and he took me to Dr. Brooks's office, the president of the college. Dr. Brooks looked up at me and said, "Mr. Reeves, Noah tells me he wants to hire you. It's all right with you. It's all right with me." And that was the end of the interview. And I started working part-time as a string teacher, 2 hours a week. But I was interested in the band, so I gave some time and helped the band director with the band.
We musicians are just that way. It's like a magnet to us.
So the president of the college liked what I did, so he called me in one day and asked me to go back to school and see if I couldn't get a master's degree, because I only had a bachelor's. And he said, "See if you can get some leave from the post office to go off." So I went in. At that time, I was the president of the Postal Alliance, and we were in the postmaster to death about integration and, affairs like that. So I think he was willing to get rid of me for about 6 weeks. So I asked him if I could take my leave in the summertime and go to school. I said, "I want to better myself in this job." He said, "Okay, fine." So I went to first year, first summer, then I went to second summer, then I went to third summer. By that time, my leave had dwindled down to almost nothing that I had been saving. So the fourth summer I went, which was my last summer, I took leave without pay for about 2 weeks. And the rest of the time I was paid for it. So, and I got my master's. And the president sent me a letter saying, understand you're finishing, say, I'll offer you an assistant professorship. $5,000, no, $5,200 a year. That's more than I'm making the post office. I said, yeah.
Why not?
Why not? And then after that, he started working on me about the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept working on me until I found a place where I could go to get a doctorate without living on campus in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
I got Catholic youth to
Mhm.
accept me 60 weeks in the summer,
Mhm.
in the fall,
Mhm.
6 hours,
Mhm.
and in the others.
They're very accommodating.
6 hours. And I did it like that, but in the meantime, I had done 30 hours beyond my master's at Columbia. And that's when the state cut out that money that they used to pay us to go to school, to keep us from going to schools and white schools in Virginia. So I couldn't afford it. So I just stopped there. And then when the Dr. Brooks started harping on me again, I said, and he said also that I'm going to retire at a certain time. I said, oh, I better get out of here. So I started commuting to Catholic youth, and I just continued until I got the doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was made head of the music department.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been made an associate professor before that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I became a full professor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then Fears called me one day and said, I hear y'all looking for a band director. Why didn't you talk to me? I said, Fears, I thought you were sent over there. You're an administrator and the band director. I thought you were making a lot of money. I didn't think we could pay you. He said, man, what you talking about? Please come talk to me. I said, well, come on, let's take an interview. Took him up for the interview, and he became the band director.
So you went from Norcom there?
No.
I went from Norcom to Norfolk State.
No.
No, I went Manor to Norfolk State. I went to Norcom to Manor to Norfolk State
Oh, okay.
at the same time.
All right. Now, when you got out of service, you
I went to Howard.
yeah.
And after I went to Howard, when I finished Howard, now I played the Swing Masters. I was the lead alto. We had a good time. We had a lot of good things happening there
Yep.
at the time, and had a wonderful, wonderful band director named Bernard Mason.
So he's the one that started me
about-
with this military thing.
The man was
I wasn't going to get drafted. See,
way ahead of his time.
you right about that?
I've had two really, really great band directors, he and Ravelli
Mm-hmm.
at Michigan, and later on, sometimes I thought Ravelli was beat up by a black kid. He was kind of hard on us, but at the end we got to be very good friends.
Mm-hmm.
But at any point, when I finished, I went to New Orleans, and for a year, and I taught at Clark High School in the Boca Raton down in the French Quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And from there I went to Norcom High School. They built a new high school on something like that, so I went to Norcom. And stayed at Norcom for quite a few years, and then I they built another school named Manor, and I asked the kids, they was talking about making Norcom a technical or vocational school or something, and I said, I'll stay if you all stay. We don't want to stay, we don't want to. So I left and went to Manor, and then while I was at Manor, I was also in administration. I was curriculum specialist there, over the arts and shops and home economics and all that. And then I found out that the gentleman who was in Norfolk State had resigned, and that's when I called Dr. Reeves. I said, what's going on here? What happened to the guy in Petersburg High School? He called me and said, congratulations on your new job. I didn't know what he's talking about. I said, I don't have a job. The rumor is you band director in Norfolk State. I said, Norfolk State's got a band director. So at any rate, that's when that started.
Now
I also played in Bobby Robinson's band with him.
Mm-hmm.